What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Farzy Show, presented by Destination Retirement, destinationretirement.com. My name is Mark Farzetta, and I'm here live as I am every day from 6 to 7, or sometimes a little bit later. We run a little bit later throughout the week recently. Just so much to talk about. Oh, my goodness. Actually, I've just been like a real chatty Cathy with a couple of my guests most recently. But we got a Sixers win to talk about. We got a masked singer to talk about, which is hilarious considering I just told you I bumped into this masked singer the other day on the street, and he said nothing of his national fame when it came to his song stylings. So we'll get into that. We'll also get into a little conversation about the Tyrese Maxey fella, and we'll also get into a conversation regarding Nick Castellanos and his quotes yesterday. I love quotes. I just love it. It was movie quote. I love the little snippets we get into somebody's mindset and mentality. And I play quotes for you guys on this show. I play sound bites, try to give you a little insight to their mentality, athletes, coaches, whatever, owners, agents, whatever it might be, their insights to their mindset. That's what a little quote drop is. And that's why I like playing them. But every once in a while, a little gem comes along and it becomes a saying. Put it on a T-shirt, if you will, to sum it up. And there are certain things that just really resonate with me in Philadelphia. They talked about one last night of the broadcast of the Sixers game with their nice win over the Lakers, despite the fact LeBron James wasn't playing. Sixers still needed a rather interesting fourth quarter to win that game. I never felt like the Sixers were going to win, or excuse me, I never felt like the Sixers were going to lose that game, but it was a weird fourth quarter. We'll get into that in a minute. But there's a good quote during the game that was referenced by Mike Breen, unlike Matt Breen, who will join us today from Philly Inquirer to talk all things Phillies baseball, including his article about the shift. But Mike Breen last night referenced faux, faux, faux with Moses Malone. Great quote in Philadelphia sports history. Jeff Garcia's quote jumped to mind. Philadelphia, Merry Christmas. When he beat the Cowboys on Christmas and he looked into the camera and he says, we all fell in love that year with Jeff Garcia. There are great quotes that we have throughout this city. Chase Utley, world bleeping champions. You know what I'm saying? We got a million quotes we could talk about. And yesterday, Nick Castellanos gave us one of those gems. But let's start off with the 76ers, and we'll also get a little bit into your Villanova Wildcats if anyone out there is a Villanova person. Ooh, we got some Villanova chat to get into when it comes to what they got going on tonight. So that's all the stuff we got on the Farzy Show today. So let's start it off with the 76ers. I mentioned yesterday that I wanted Joel Embiid to dominate in this game. And for whatever reason, I just felt like when LeBron James was out, that it wasn't going to be quite the Joel Embiid show as I had hoped or as I anticipated, or like I bet. Got a little cocky last night, said, I know he could go for 40. Well, last night wasn't exactly his best shooting night as a 76er, unfortunately. However, he still got 30 points on the board for the Sixers. And what's interesting about that is that he led the pack. Listen to this. Joel Embiid, 30 points. Tobias Harris, 20. Maxey, 21. James Harden, 24 points on a night where the bench got you 21 points. How about that? Now, as a team, as you would imagine, with that many guys dropping at least 20 points and your bench actually coming up with 18 points in this game, which is pretty damn good for a Sixers bench as of late. And Duck Rivers switched up the rotations a wee bit as well. That's a pretty big night for the Sixers. Offensively speaking, like I said, 126 points, not too bad. But what was wild to me was that Joel Embiid normally closes games out. This was a game without LeBron James playing. Even though he scored 30 points, dare I say with Joel Embiid, it was a quiet 30 points? Because normally he's making the most noise in the fourth quarter. Sometimes he'll come out in the first half and he'll be untouchable. Last night he had 16 points in the first half. Pretty good. Obviously, he did pretty well in the fourth quarter, or excuse me, in the second half as well. But the way he was playing in this game was a little bit different. He wasn't hitting those mid-range shots like he normally does. He definitely showed going into halftime that his back was still bothering him. Said afterwards, it'll be fine, nothing to worry about. But still, when you see your star player, your MVP supposedly for this season, as far as I'm concerned, the MVP of the league, they said last night, the odds-on favorite to win MVP award this year. When you see him walk into the locker room and he's hunched over with his knees between his with his head between his knees, trying to stretch out his lower back, you have a little bit of a concern. Came out and still scored 14 points in the second half. Only 4 of those points came in the fourth quarter, and they only came at the foul line. And we're used to seeing Joel Embiid go to the line 15, 20, 25 points, whatever it might be, from the foul line in any given game. But last night I thought it was particularly interesting that he only had 4 points in the fourth quarter overall, and all 4 of those points came at the foul line. Very un-Joel Embiid-like. Thought that was interesting, and we'll see how that changes up when they go up against the LA Clippers for the next matchup. But when LeBron James was out, I thought this isn't going to be that dominant game that we see from Joel Embiid because the motivation won't be there to go back and forth with LeBron, who LeBron is still first in the NBA in scoring, with Joel Embiid just 0.2 of a point behind him. LeBron at 30, Joel Embiid at 29.8 points per game. So for me, I was hoping that LeBron would be that guy on the floor to kind of push him a little bit. But most importantly, I was also the guy that hoping that would say, oh, without LeBron James, Sixers will take care of business and win this game going away. That wasn't the case. Our old friend Dwight Howard got after it last night as well. He had 24 points. Oh, Russell Westbrook all of a sudden remembered how to play basketball. He had 24 points, was a rebound and 2 assists shy of a triple-double for himself there. And two players on the Lakers off the bench came up with 20 points as well. So pretty wild game as far as the guys scoring in bunches. Guys scoring, really, when it comes to over 20 points, 8 players did it in this game. So that was an interesting stat to throw out there. Overall, looking at the rotations, I couldn't help but think, as I think most people did, I couldn't help but think, watching Tyrese Maxey really run the second unit. Now, he started the game, but this was staggering to the nth degree. In the second quarter, and really towards the tail end of the first quarter, you saw James Harden on the floor with Joel Embiid, Furkan Korkmaz, Shake Milton, and George Niang. Now, Niang's not the surprise. That's generally when he comes into a game. And he immediately hit 3 threes. Shake Milton comes in, hits a couple of shots for you. Furkan Korkmaz has rediscovered his own game. And I couldn't help but think, wow, that win over the Miami Heat without James Harden, without Joel Embiid, gave Doc Rivers some confidence in his bench to say, all right, maybe it's time to get these guys involved in the first quarter a little bit more. And maybe it's time for Tyrese Maxey to come off the bench in the second quarter and run the second unit while James Harden and Joel Embiid are getting a break, especially when you need Joel Embiid to get as much of a break as possible, considering the back is still bothering him. And it's towards the end of the season, and this guy has gone all out, pedal to the metal, especially ever since December with this squad. So for me, I thought it was interesting to watch that play out. I thought it was a good decision by Doc Rivers to change it up a little bit. Something needed to be done, and you get 18 points from your bench. Like I said, George Niang came off the bench for you last night to shoot 3 for 4 from beyond the arc. And really, 3 for 4 includes a end of the first quarter heave that he missed. But he came up with those 9 points in the first quarter. DeAndre Jordan got you 9 points. Furkan Korkmaz got you 6 points. So it was a nice night for the 76ers and their bench. 27 points from the Sixers last night. Furkan Korkmaz had 3 for 4 from the field with 6 points for himself. So that's good. 27 points for the Sixers last night coming off the bench. Great to see that. Great to see Doc make the adjustment. And I wouldn't be surprised if you see the same type of rotation going up against the Clippers as well. So look forward to seeing that. One of the first quotes I'll play for you today is Tyrese Maxey. And it's Tyrese Maxey quoting his father. Because Maxey, as we all know, we've talked about the big 3. Last night it was the big 4 for the 76ers with Tobias Harris giving you that type of point performance, something that I know we all want to see come playoff time. So that was great. But what was really wild was listening to some of these post-game comments. James Harden had a couple of nice things. But Tyrese Maxey is the guy that stole the show. And it really came down to motivation and work ethic, which is something that I'll say we're suckers for in Philadelphia. We want to know your motivation. We want to know your work ethic. We want to see you be a blue-collar guy all the time. And Tyrese Maxey certainly is this guy. He's that guy. And here's what Tyrese Maxey had to say about what advice his father gave him when it came to his work ethic when the lights aren't on and nobody's watching.
You know, I tell everybody, the work you put in when no one's around always comes to light when you're playing in front of thousands. So that's really it.
Where'd you get that from?
My dad. My dad told me that one day when we were in the gym, probably early morning, working out, and it was dark. Dark gym, and nobody was there but me and him. And I probably wasn't going as hard as his liking. And he told me, dude, this is when people are made, when no one's in the gym. He told me that it was like a day before one of my big high school games. And then next day, you know, it's a lot of people in the gym, and I played pretty well. And he gave me that speech.
To all the young players, one of my favorite SportsCenter anchors of all time, to quote him, Craig Kilborn, to all the young players, that's how you do it. Take note. Take note, young people. What you do when the lights aren't on is what separates you from the rest of the pack, basically. Love hearing it. Love that sunk in so well with a player that we're already in love with. I mean, tell me we don't like Tyrese Maxey. We love Tyrese Maxey. And you see it on the court. And he goes out last night again with another good performance, and that's what you want to see from the young man. By the way, also good shooting night, 8 for 14 for him. So that was nice. 7 assists for the Sixers. Pretty awesome. Pretty awesome to see. So Sixers will go on to take on the LA Clippers, so they're not going to go anywhere. Stay right there. Staying in the NBA real quick. If you haven't seen it, it looks like New York City is relaxing their vaccine mandates for entertainers and, what do you know, basketball players, athletes. So it looks like Kyrie Irving, in the very night, Friday, I believe it is, tomorrow, is going to be permitted to play at home. So the Nets, even though our boy, Ben Simmons, or your boy, Ben Simmons, is there nothing more annoying than when somebody refers to somebody you can't stand as your boy? Like, oh, yeah, your boy, Ben Simmons. Like, this is not my boy. Like, oh, yeah. I immediately go on the defensive when anybody says that. Like, hey, your boy, Chip Kelly. They say it to Clay Harbor from that conversation yesterday. Hey, your boy, Chip Kelly. What are you talking about? Anyway, So even though Ben Simmons isn't going to be playing because of that herniated disc, Kyrie Irving will make the Nets as full as possible. Seth Curry, though, also has to come back from an ankle sprain. We'll see how long that takes him to come back for. But basically, Kyrie, KD, at home, rest of the season. It's pretty much how that's going to work out. Just in time. Just in time. I see somebody bring this up in the chat, so we will get to this, and it is a little disappointing. But let me get into this conversation. Kyle Schwarber played yesterday for the first time as a Philly. He was 0 for 3 in the game. But looking at some of the other, just the box score from the Phillies, they did win yesterday. Schwarber did have 2 strikeouts, but Rhys Hoskins had a couple of hits. JT Realmuto hit a home run, a 414-foot blast, if you will, for the Phils. So it was a good day for some of these guys to get out there. But seeing Kyle Schwarber in the Phillies uniform was great. He led off, which I thought was interesting. Also a designated hitter, which I also thought was interesting for the Phillies. Maybe a little bit tip of the cap, maybe a little bit showing the cards from Joe Girardi a little bit early on. Not that it's a huge surprise by any means, but it was your first glimpse of Kyle Schwarber in a Phillies uniform on the field. We also got our first glimpse of Nick Castellanos in at least a Phillies jersey, but certainly not on the field as of yet. And look, maybe we do in the city pay a little too much attention to press conferences and what people say as opposed to what they're doing on the surface of play. But you say something like this, like what Nick Castellanos had to say, and I think a lot of people look at it and go, okay, this guy will fit in here just fine. Here's another quote on motivation, not in the way of Tyrese Maxey, but in the way of Nick Castellanos, and why he's so motivated to play the sport of baseball.
How would you describe what that attitude is when you come to the plate in a big event?
I don't know. I think the best way to describe it is survival, right? Like, it's how I feed my family. I don't have a college degree. I hit baseballs.
That's sum it up real easy for everybody. Let me explain something to you. There's nothing else. There's nothing else I got. I hit baseballs, and then I pay my family. Then I feed my family. Like, that's what happens. Like, there's no other option here. It's like, well, I really like woodworking. Like, no, that's not really going there. That's not happening. Well, I really like shoveling driveways in the winter. No, that's not going there. Well, I really like the English language, and I wanted to become an English teacher. Like, no, it's not happening. I don't have a college degree. I hit baseballs. I can relate. Not to the baseball things, but it's like I say my sports opinions and then I pay my mortgage. Like that's how I operate. Like there's no other option for me to go out and like, oh, what else can I be? Nothing else anybody's gonna be willing to pay me for. I'll tell you that much. That sums up the perfect attitude. What's my motivation? I like my family to eat food, and the only way I know how to do that is if I keep hitting a baseball. I keep hitting that baseball, Family eats. We're good to go. That's survival, baby. And that's what he also said that his mindset, his mentality came from. Just survival. You're going to fit in just fine here, Nick. You're going to fit in here just fine. And how about, did you see those? I don't have these shots in front of me, but did you see like the glamour shots they took of Nick Castellanos, like walking up to the park in his PJs? It was like this. It literally made me think of Clay Harbor in The Bachelorette. Like, is he walking into like the rose ceremony? What's going on here? But they seem in love with him. I think it was Crossing Broad that actually tweeted out, Nick Castellanos is handsome. You're not wrong. He's a handsome fellow. I'll say it. I don't care. Anyway, one more thing regarding the Sixers. I want to get back to this before we move into Matt Breen and have his conversation. Sixers right now, if you looked at the standings, here they are in front of you. Miami Heat still in first place. Sixers, Bucks, Celtics, game and a half out of first place. Chicago Bulls 4.5 games out. Cleveland Cavaliers, and you can't see it down there because of my scroll, but Brooklyn Nets are down there as well at the 8th seed. The Miami Heat may have been broken last night. And if you haven't seen it yet, I'll show it to you right now. The Miami Heat got beaten up on by the 76ers without James Harden, without Joel Embiid, Tyrese Maxey going off, the bench going off. Everything was fantastic. But the Heat went to bounce back against the Golden State Warriors at home last night. And a ruckus erupted on the bench. There's one perfect angle here that has Eric Spoelstra, Heat head coach, looking at our old boy, your boy, Jimmy Butler. And it looks like the lips are saying, you want to fight me? Like Eric Spoelstra's looking at Jimmy Butler saying, you want to fight me? And then Haslam goes off on the whole thing. Here's how it played out on the Heat bench last night in the NBA. I want to make sure I give proper credit to the person that actually got this. So let me just hit that one more time. Ted Budwell. Way to go, Ted. But you see in that he was sitting behind the Heat bench, and he got that on camera. You saw right there. Obviously a wild scene. Tempers were flaring after the game. Eric Spoelstra didn't really want to get into it too much. He said, hey, what happened on the bench? Well, we were trying to decide where to go for dinner, and people have their opinions, kind of is the way he handled it. But also he talked about the heat of the moment. Jimmy Butler talked about the heat of the moment, that he basically blacks out when he's in those I gotta win moments, and that's what happened. There's a little part of me that's like, man, if Kawhi Leonard didn't hit that shot and the Sixers went into overtime, the quadruple doink, I could see Jimmy Butler going off on Brett Brown or Ben Simmons like that in a high-intense situation, overtime, Game 7 of the playoffs. And that's how it would have ended eventually if Jimmy Butler would have stayed in here with Ben Simmons or Brett Brown. But last night, I guess, was a boiling point for him. But the guy that lit the fire on the stovetop for that boiling point was none other than the amazing Tyrese Maxey. Make no mistake about it. I saw some people tweeting out last night that the Sixers, they broke the Miami Heat. Could very well be, because they also were playing against the Heat team were playing at home against a team that didn't have Klay Thompson, did not have Draymond Green, for instance. So yeah, it's a tough loss to take to the Golden State Warriors when those guys are not playing. It's a tough one. So that happened last night in Miami, and we could all sit back and laugh because who knows? It looks like the Heat and the Bulls are two teams that are going to be falling apart. The Bulls already have, but the Heat could be falling apart in the not too distant future, and we still got a bunch of games left to go. 11 games left in the regular season, I believe it is, for the 76ers. So we'll see how that goes. Coming up, we're going to get to Matt Breen in just a second. I do want to get into this Tyreek Hill deal, because whenever I see a deal go down that's a little bit of a surprise, I think, well, what happened to the wheeling and dealing Howie Roseman? And the Eagles are in a position where they have the draft stock. We all know that. They have the draft capital. They have money to make a deal. They're under the cap right now, thanks to Howie's wizardry when it comes to the cap. We reworking Darius Slay's deal, for instance. Fletcher Cox, obviously taking less money. But Tyreek Hill goes to the Dolphins. So now he's going to be joined up with Jalen Waddle. That's a pretty good wide receiving core. Saw somebody tweet out, fastest receiving core in the history of the NFL. You wouldn't flip a 1 for Tyreek Hill? I'd flip a 1 for Tyreek Hill. Because here's what I don't want to do. I like Devontae Smith a lot, and I think that pick is going to be an absolute home run for the Eagles, and it's going to be great in the future with Devontae Smith. However, I would love to have a more veteran wide receiver on this team. I would love to upgrade, let's say, Quez Watkins. Huh? Love to upgrade Quez Watkins to Tyreek Hill. Could you imagine that speed down the sideline? Could you imagine that speed on a slant route? That's like prime Deshaun Jackson you're getting back in Philadelphia. And Howie Roseman, Mr. Wizard when it comes to trades, Mr. Howie fleeced someone else. That's what Howie does. Radio's silent on Tyreek Hill. I would like to think that a guy like Andy Reid might be in touch with his former team, might have a good relationship with Jeffrey Lurie or Howie Roseman in some capacity. Where hey guys, I'm trading Tyreek Hill. You interested? Maybe the Eagles weren't. Maybe the Eagles don't want that high-profile wide receiver that's going to draw a lot of attention. They like the more understated guys, the more humble guys. You know why they're humble? Because they're not that good, with the exception of Devontae Smith, of course. But maybe Tyreek Hill didn't want to come here. There's a lot of things that go into this. But for the Eagles, for a report not even to come out, say that the Eagles were kicking the tires on Tyreek Hill, just something along those lines, a little surprising. Somebody of that nature gets moved, and there's not even one report that comes out. Oh, and the Eagles are sniffing around with Tyreek Hill by being available. Kansas City Chiefs are making Tyreek Hill available. Oh, and the Eagles are said to be interested. Not even a report of that. I know how warm the shower water was for Deshaun Watson, but I don't know whether or not the Eagles were in on Tyreek Hill at all. Here's one of the reasons I know they weren't, because he's not here. And the Eagles had a better opportunity to get him and more to spend than anybody, whether that be for a good trade for a team to look at with the Kansas City Chiefs with a possible first-round pick, or obviously affording him considering how much money they're under the cap. I would rather the Eagles just get another wide receiver as opposed to trying to groom one, because grooming them, they're not so good. Not so good at grooming wide receivers. You have to go out and getting them. Okay, maybe that's a better idea. Want to see Jalen Hurts take a major step forward? Maybe get him some better targets, and that would help out. I was surprised when that news went down yesterday. First, I was like, oh, wow, Tyreek Hill's getting moved. And then I was like, well, there's literally no reports about the Eagles who've got the two things you really need in a trade, assets and money, and they're not even mentioned. That's an odd thing for a guy like Howie Roseman, who's in on everything. I would have given up a first for him. Let me tell you, ladies and gentlemen, about the great people at Destination Retirement, destinationretirement.com. My man, Mike Seibert, retirement income certified professional, is a financial advisor for Eagles and Sixers fans only. His firm, Destination Retirement LLC, is a full-service planning firm and a partner of 1847 Financial. Mike helps clients with their accumulation years as well as their distribution years. Well, what's the difference? A lot. Have you figured out how much you'll need per month when you retire? How much your retirement income would you like guaranteed no matter what? Do you want to protect any assets from a downside market risk, or do you have a written plan in place? If you have questions, if you need answers, you have assets of $250,000 or more, Mike will create a written plan to help offset your retirement expenses free of charge using software from Retirement Analyzer. He's usually charging about $2,000, so act now. Your plan will show you how to offset your retirement expenses, what to do in a volatile market, and also help you, this is a great one, help you minimize taxes. With over 30 years of experience, Mike is committed to helping Eagles and Sixers fans get to and through retirement. You can reach Mike at 484-275-6035. That's 484-275-6035, or visit destinationretirement.com. Click on Find Out at the top of the page and fill out the questionnaire to see how prepared you are for retirement, and to sign up for his newsletter as well at destinationretirement.com. He'll get back to you, and Mike Seibert will tell you how he can help. And as always, go Birds and play the song. Let me tell you about Steven Singer Jewelers, the other corner of 8th and Walnut, or online at IHateStevenSinger.com. That's IHateStevenSinger.com. Always the perfect price at Steven Singer Jewelers. So people are always worried about what they're going to be spending on a diamond. Oh, it's so beautiful. It's sparkling. It's glistening. It's gorgeous. But how much is it? At Steven Singer, you never got to worry about that how much is it part, because you know you're getting the perfect price every single time. Okay, maybe I can negotiate. Maybe I can haggle. No. At Steven Singer, you don't got to worry about that. Just worry about what you want to buy. That's how simple it is. And you also get walked through everything by a real jewelry expert who is standing by at the ready to help you out. So see my friend Steven Singer Jewelers at the other corner of 8th and Walnut, right there on Jewelers Row in Philadelphia, and see what he has in store for you. If you're looking to get engaged, you have enraged. That comes later. But when we're married, it's beautiful. You go to Steven Singer Jewelers, you get the beautiful diamond engagement ring. They have Ready for Love diamond engagement ring standing by at the ready. Diamond tennis bracelets, diamond stud earrings, and of course those diamond rings. Everything available right there at Steven Singer Jewelers. So do what I do when it comes to your big jewelry purchases. Trust my man Steven Singer of Steven Singer Jewelers. One place, one price, the perfect price every single day. IHateStevenSinger.com. Without further ado, a lot of people want to get involved in the Phillies and have the excitement back. I'm excited about the Phillies. Baseball's still stupid. That's the best way I can still sum it up. Still mad at baseball, not mad at the Phillies anymore. I was never really mad at the Phillies. I mean, I've been mad at the Phillies plenty in my life. Don't get me wrong. Like 10 years of missing the playoffs. But we'll get Matt Breen's take on everything from Inquirer.com, including a great article I wrote on the shift. We covered it all in the interview. Without further ado, let's jump on the Roth and Orthopedics guest line. Talk to my friend Matt Breen of Inquirer.com. Right now on the Roth and Orthopedics guest line. You know him, you love him from Inquirer.com. You can check out all things Matt Breen on Inquirer.com, as well as his Twitter feed. Check that out right there. Shout out to the Madden background, by the way, and his incredible story. If you haven't seen this feature piece yet on the shift and it going away in a year, Matt Breen covered it all when it came to Ryan Howard versus the shift and what could have been if it was banned in the Ryan Howard era. Matt Breen, welcome in. How you doing?
I'm good. Incredible was a little much of an oversell. People are going to be disappointed now when they track the story down.
No. I go for the oversell every single time. There is no undersell for me, my friend. I overpromise and then most likely, with the exception of you, underdeliver. That's generally how I do it.
Thank you.
But it really is a fantastic piece. People need to check this out if they haven't already. It's also in your Twitter feed. It's also on, obviously, Inquirer.com. But I hate the shift. I've always hated the shift, reading stories about, the Red Sox and Ted Williams and going up against the shift. Even then, it drove me crazy. I don't like the guys playing that far out of position simply because they can. I get the competitive advantage of it, but I always hated it because it made hitters adjust to something that wasn't natural for them. Just your basic, before we get into the story, what has been your opinion of the shift and the possibility of banning it even before next year?
Yeah, I'm with you. I can say I don't like it. I would like to get rid of it. But then there's the part of me that's torn about this is baseball, and baseball is the beauty of baseball is strategy, and the game is based on strategy and traditionalism of this is how it's always been. You always could adjust to what you thought was a strategy and what was an advantage. But it makes the game worse. It makes the game worse to watch. It takes away action out of the field. And if you look at the history of the NFL, the NBA, the NHL, they've always been able to adjust their rules to this current climate of the game and the way the game's going to make the game more watchable and more enjoyable. Every league has had these kind of rule changes. But with baseball, it's a rule change is, a controversy. You can't touch baseball's rules because it's so sacred. Even, designated hitter in the National League, that should have happened a long time ago. But even me, I was well, that's how it is. That's how it's always been. That's the beauty of the game is pinch hitting and double switching. It's no, it's not. That's just we got to get over that traditionalism stuff. And we got to make this game more enjoyable, more watchable. And to me, that's just getting rid of the shift. It's the DH in the National League this year. I love that. I think it's great. You're going to have more offense, more action. It's maybe this double hook rule that they have, they're going to try in the minor leagues about pinch hitting for the DH and how that kind of comes into play. And I don't know. I think baseball has to relax itself and not take itself so serious. sometimes about things and just make the game more fun. Like the ghost runner on second base in extra innings. Everyone's like, no, you can't do that because it's the best when the 27th inning when Wilson Valdez is on the mound. It's like, no. Trust me, that's cool when it happens like once every 15 years. But when you're there and they're going to the 14th inning again and they went to the 13th the night before, it's like, no.
Right.
I don't need to see it. Just end the game. If you can't get it over in 9 innings, that's your fault. We're going to put the guy on second, wrap it up. See you later.
Wilson Valdez is also my go-to guy. I'll never forget that extra inning. It happened one time. It was 19 innings against the Reds, and Danny Baez.
We can't change the rules.
We can't change the rules. Exactly.
Yeah.
It's. I heard Jeff Passan talk about the DH recently, and he was like, for every Bartolo Colon home run, there's about 1 billion just guys that don't give a damn with any swing they take at the plate. So I get it. I have been a traditionalist for the vast majority of my life with baseball. But now recently it has become more of realizing that attitude is what's killing baseball. Baseball has become the old uptight uncle that needs to talk to its young, hip, cool nephew. That's the way I kind of look at it.
I agree. And there's a ton of, great talent. Like they're just like how you look at the NBA and you can name all the stars in the NBA and the NFL. You should be able to do that in baseball too. There's not an absence of talent. It's just the game has to be promoted, marketed, rule changes to make it more exciting. But it's there. Like there's 15 to 20 guys that you can point to, just like in the NBA. If you put on ESPN tonight, you can find a game to watch because you probably know one of those players because they market the game so well. And baseball has the talent to do it. They just need to make the game more fan friendly. And this is one of the examples of how they can do it.
I'm with you there. When it comes to your story, and again, for people to check it out, it's on Inquirer.com right now. Ryan Howard versus the Shift. You got a chance to catch up with Ryan Howard. You get to talk to all these great people. And last time I talked to you, we were just talking to everybody from the Allen Iverson era, which was amazing. But this story is really interesting because you talked to Ryan Howard about what could have been if so many times he hit a baseball, scolded a baseball, it didn't go right to the second baseman's mitt who was playing in shallow right field. What did Ryan Howard have to say about what could have been if him not going up against the Shift as often as he did?
Yeah, so I was actually talking to Howard for a story next month, and I figured this is newsworthy. I might as well throw this at him. When you think of the Shift, especially in Philadelphia, you think of Ryan Howard, and he didn't like it back then, still doesn't like it, hasn't changed. He saw a shift almost. It's insane. At the end of his career, he had in the final season, he had like 6 or 7 at-bats of balls hitting the play that did not come against a shift. Everything else was shifted against. So he saw almost a shift exclusively for those last 10 years of his career. And even when he came up right away, it didn't take long. Like there was a quote in 2006, Joe Torre was asked, that famous Yankees-Phillies series where Howard hit one in the third deck. Why didn't you shift him? And he's like, well, the shift wouldn't work. We had to play him higher, not actually shift him. But it was still a thing. It wasn't like people sometimes think like, no, that's only what happened at the end. Like, no, he was facing the shifts his entire career, but it got more severe at the end because baseball as a whole started getting deeper and deeper into analytics and using that as a tool. And that's where the shifts across baseball have become prevalent. And last year they set another record for most shifts in a season. So it's just going, as the game goes, that in that way, the shift is a thing that's going to go with it. And Howard brought up maybe that it'll be more hit and runs and more action that way, not just more singles, but there's going to be more guys moving on the base passes because of the absence of the shift.
Yeah, the other thing that always drove me crazy was seeing that not even a ground ball, like scolded to second base, but a line drive that would normally be falling in right before the right fielder. It would go right in the mitt on a line drive to the second baseman who's playing that deep. And that to me, it was always the thing. It was like, okay, now that one was definitely a hit. That one was definitely scoring a run, and now it's just a totally different story. So I am in the school now of, yes, it's time to make that change finally in baseball, just as it was with the designated hitter. What do you think we could have seen from Ryan Howard? I remember his MVP season. He was a .313 hitter. I think in his rookie campaign where he played those 82 games, I want to say he batted .282. That was an incredible run for him with 22 home runs. What do you think would have been for Ryan Howard if he didn't see the shift as often as he did in the final decade of his career?
Yeah, Milt Thompson, the Phillies hitting coach back then, he estimated in one of the old articles I found that this cost him about 40 hits a season. So you add 40 to that, that's a lot. And then you think about Ryan Howard struck out a lot, like we know, but how many of those strikeouts were predicated on what he's seeing in the field? And like you had mentioned earlier, the adjustments you have to make at the plate because you have 4 guys standing over here on the right side, and that's causing you to strike out. So who knows what it could have happened, but obviously you can't ignore that the Achilles rupture, and it wasn't like, and that's what I mentioned in my story. I didn't want to make it seem like Ryan Howard's career, kind of faded at the end just because of the shift. There was a lot of factors involved, but when you think of the shift in Philly, you think of Ryan Howard. So it was definitely worth it to me to get his opinion on that.
Certainly. Let me ask you about this current Phillies roster as currently, I would say constructed, but I think a better word would be, I don't know, massively compiled to hit smash home runs, I guess. Nick Castellanos, Kyle Schwarber, these guys already teaming up with Bryce Harper and Rhys Hoskins and JT Realmuto. What are you making of, let's just talk about the lineup first. What are you making of this Phillies lineup as constructed?
It should be tough to face. You're going to have a lot of power, a lot of guys that get on base at a high rate, which is important, and just guys that work good at bats and that, like I said, that can hit for power in a ballpark that's made for this kind of lineup. So it's going to be, and if you look back, 2007, that's the modern era in Phillies history of total runs scored. So that whole run of Phillies baseball was built on a really great offense. And that's what they're going to try and do again. That's the way to win in this ballpark, is to go on offense. And the offense is obviously what everyone's talking about. And, that's exciting. That's what you want to talk about. But you can't ignore the defense. And I definitely have concerns. I think it's fair to be concerned about defense. I remember a year ago thinking about this and saying, well, the Phillies can out-hit their defense. That the way the game's going, high scoring, out-hit, they can overcome that. That's not a big deal. And then you saw what happened. The defense was historically bad all season. So that's still, I'm not trying to be the negative guy, but that's a realistic concern. Is you have a lot of guys that are not plus defenders in the field right now. So we'll see how that goes. But they couldn't fix their defense in one offseason, but they did have a chance to add 2 power hitters in Schwarber and Castellanos. So they took a chance on that. You can fix your defense next year if it doesn't work. The starting pitching still is a question mark for me. Wheeler, obviously we don't know how healthy he's going to be. And Ranger Suarez was excellent at the second half of last season, but I need to see more before, you're counting on him. Zach Eflin still coming back from surgery. So the pitching, the starting pitching, the bullpen is a question mark, but you're allowed to be excited, I would say, about this team because of what they did. They're going over the competitive balance tax, and they have a lineup that's going to hit, and it's going to hit in a ballpark that is asking to be hit in.
How confident can I be? How confident should the fan base be that they can end the playoff drought, considering the boosted lineup and the playoff expansion?
Yeah, I think the extra playoff spot to me gives you more confidence there, but it's still going to be tough. I think they're the 3rd best team in the NL East right now. Yeah, I think the Braves and the Mets are probably ahead of them. Obviously the Braves are the world champions, so that's an easy one. But I still, man, if they don't make the playoffs this year after going over the luxury tax and getting these guys this offseason, and it's got to end eventually, right?
No, they finally won a World Series in 2008, and I didn't see that one coming. So that's true.
I think they make the playoffs this year. I do. I'm more confident this year than I have been in previous seasons about their playoff chances.
That's all I need right now. That's all I need to get me by the next couple of weeks before the season starts. Who do you? Right, exactly. Yeah. Who should I be most confident in when it comes to replacing Odubel Herrera as this team's everyday center fielder? Who has the best chance to do that?
Anybody.
I wish you were right, but we watched how many guys they rolled out last year, and it was like Moniak, nope. Hazley, he disappeared off the face of the earth. All these Vierling, a little bit of promise, not really.
I do like Matt Vierling.
Okay.
I thought he was. I don't know defensively how well he's going to play center field, but he's good. He had a really good year last year. He impressed me. Defensively in other spots, he went and learned to get to the majors, he said, let me learn first base, let me learn third base, if that helps me. He has got that kind of attitude, and he hits the ball extremely hard, had some of the highest exit velocities last season. All you need to do is you elevate that a little bit, and those balls are getting out of the ballpark. Instead of being doubles, they're home runs. He's got that kind of power in his bat, and I think he's in a good spot where he's going to bat 8th or 9th, right? You slide him down the bottom of the lineup, and that's the good thing about going out and getting Castellanos and Schwarber is that, next thing you know, Matt Vierling, like, he's not really, you're not counting on Matt Vierling as much as, you might have been before. You can hide him at 8 or 9, let him take his growing pains and kind of find his way while playing every day. So I think he's in a good spot and has kind of that mentality to handle starting in center field.
Gotcha. All right. Who will be your designated hitter for the majority of the season, you think?
Either Schwarber or Castellanos. I'm sure Joe Girardi's probably going to split them between left field and the DH. The good thing about the DH, too, is it gets guys off their feet. I know Harper loves to play every day, but, like, you got to keep him healthy. So, give him a break, get him at the DH. JT Realmuto, the same thing, get him into the DH. But for the most part, Schwarber and Castellanos are probably your two biggest, like, defensive liabilities, for lack of a better word. So if you can hide one of them in the DH and just keep their bat in the lineup, that's huge. But you can't ignore, like, the DH. It's an American League thing, right? And Schwarber's historically a National League player. Castellanos played with the Tigers, but it's more of a National League guy in the last few seasons. So I don't know how much that's like a learning experience too. How do you kind of just be a hitter? It's tough. It's not like, as simple as we might think it is. That these guys are in a routine of they play the field,
right?
And they come in and hit. Now it's just like all you do. And I think Harper might have mentioned it a couple weeks ago that, or maybe with JT, that it's tough to take your at bats and then think about your at bat on the bench for the next 3 innings until you come up again. Like, you have nothing to wash it out. Like, you strike out, you go play the field, and that's the end of it.
Yeah, but baseball players are a different animal, man. They're just a different animal.
It's just something to keep in mind of the DH and how guys, you got to learn to do it. Just so you got to learn how to be a pinch hitter. I think you have to learn to be a DH too.
Last thing for you, as far as baseball goes, and the hardest question I'll probably ever ask you in the history of questions I've asked you. When it comes to your leadoff hitter, who's your leadoff hitter?
It sounds like Kyle Schwarber is going to be the guy.
Yeah.
Which it's just funny. Like, historic traditionalist, right? We want, like, Ricky Henderson at the top of the lineup, Jimmy Rollins.
Yeah.
It's like,
that ain't the
Kyle
game.
Schwarber, like, I might be able to beat Kyle Schwarber in a 40, but he gets on base,
right?
And it's not a bad thing to have power at the top. So, yeah, I think it's going to be Kyle Schwarber, and we will have to learn to let go of our traditionalism. He doesn't have to steal 40 bases to bat leadoff.
You're right. You're exactly right. All right, here's the hardest question for you. Who were you in Madden 93? Who was your team?
I was a kid, so I was always the Eagles.
You were
Yeah, but then, like, so I was always the Eagles, and we get to, like, Madden 95, and they had the all Madden teams on there.
Yeah,
so I'm still a kid, but I older brother. So he would let me be all Madden team, and he would be whoever. So I would at least get a chance to beat him. I literally did not beat him until, like, Madden 99, Madden 2000. Like, I went like 6-7 years without I remember sitting there, like, I had him in Madden 97, Christmas Day. We got it. I had him. I'm ready to beat him. He beats me on a last second touchdown. He runs upstairs, cheering and hollering and telling my dad. And I was sitting there and I'm like, I'm never going to beat this guy. Like, it's one of those memories that, like, sticks with me. Like, I'm never, and then I got him back eventually, but it took time.
Oh yeah, well, you got to. I'm a little brother as well. My brother's 3 years older than I am. I know those grudges. I know your pain. I know your pain all too well, my friend. But once you climb that mountain, though, oh baby, it's a good time. It's a good time.
It is.
Matt Breen, always great catching up with you. Check out his article, Inquirer.com, covering all things the shift when it comes to the effect of Ryan Howard's career and what it could do now that it's going away for other people's careers starting next season. Matt, always great catching up with you. Thanks so much. And sometimes we'll have to rock out a little modern day Madden.
Yep, for sure, Mark. Thanks a lot. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. Matt Breen joining us from Inquirer.com on the Rothman Orthopedics guest line. little brother, big brother rivalries over video games. Those are those are blood matches, basically. Ping pong. My brother and I photo. We got a ping pong table one year for Christmas, and then it was just a matter of time before like ping pong paddles were being thrown at each other's faces. Just before you go to like spike his crap, you let one out there. You just go to spike it. You got to dodge the ping pong paddle and then spike it. And that's full contact ping pong. That's how my brother and I played growing up, kids. That's how we played. And then Joe Montana football for Sega Genesis. Great baseball for Sega Master System, which was the equivalent of Nintendo for all the near 40-year-olds out there. Madden, a little bit of Madden, but mostly Joe Montana. NHL hockey 94. That was bloody. That got bloody a lot. That got a lot bloody. There might not have been bleeding in the game. Make somebody's head bleed, Mikey. But there was blood in what we called the Sega room. It was really like an office, but it was Sega's in there now. It's the Sega room. I miss the Sega room. But those were the games. And my cousins and I, oh my goodness, all of us. We were like brothers and sisters growing up. It was great. But a lot of fights over video games. Yeah. And then we go outside and really take it out by playing actual football. Yeah, we'd go outside. It was a good time. My thanks to Matt Breen. Drop by the show. Much appreciated. Always good to talk to Matt. Let me tell you about the amazing people at Rothman Orthopedics. I was just thinking about it the other day. I told you guys I'm building this coffee station. Oh, more on that in a minute. I'm building this coffee station in my kitchen, and I'm thinking to myself, usually this hurts. My shoulder starts hurting. Not with Rothman Orthopedics. No sirree. Not anymore. I went to Rothman Orthopedics. They showed me the exercise that I needed to do. They showed me the therapy I needed to have, and they also showed me what I needed to buy off Amazon to help me with my pinched nerve in my shoulder. And boy, let me tell you, it's a whole new ball game. I'll be done this coffee bar by the end of the next week. This coffee station by the end of the next week. Really excited. Pulled 100-year-old wood out of the wall upstairs in my house, and now I'm repurposing that pine to build a coffee station in our kitchen. It's going to be lovely. And the good people at Rothman Orthopedics have given me the health and the strength to do it. Because remember the old you? Remember the one that didn't have to put up with a fickle knee, a finicky hip, or a shoulder that no longer did what a shoulder should do? Well, the Rothman approach to orthopedics is here to get you back to being you, back to running, walking, working, back to playing, back to living your life the way you want. With same-day appointments available, you can go to RothmanOrtho.com right now and get started. RothmanOrtho.com. Rothman Orthopedics, the official orthopedic partner of your Phillies, Eagles, and Sixers. How about the people of Windview? The only game where fans can take on other fans and end the debate once and for all. Who is the biggest sports fan? If you have those friends or family members who think they know everything about sports, challenge them to a Windview contest and see if they can walk the walk as well as they talk the talk. Windview is a great time for all fans that want to get involved and win real money prizes on making predictions on the games that you love so much. And here's the best part. It's not a sports book. It's not daily fantasy. It's a social gaming app where fans can win real money prizes on making those predictions. So download the WinView app right now to your phone and have yourself a good time. Also, PHL Sports Station, Philadelphia Sports Station, enhancing your Philadelphia sports fan experience. Across all social media and blogs. Check out phlsportstation.com. Let's jump into the chat check. I see some new names in the chat check. Always welcoming the new people out here. Nice to have you along. Let's see who we have here. John Cheeseborough, nice to have you. If somebody plays cover 2, look for the hole in the zone and exploit it. Hit towards. I only have some of the chat again. I don't know why, but I have some of the chat. Oh, Jim Grassmeter says Farzaholics. It's nice to be a drug. You can't quit me, can you? Anyway, Jim, good morning to you. Paul, good morning. I like Paul just says, Jim, right back at him. Falconator, I think they're banning it all together because they think that offensive production draws in more viewers than close competitive games would have been able to restrict it. Wouldn't have been able to restrict it. Falconator, I think you're exactly right. Offense puts butts in the seats. Now, the only thing is, there's a double-edged sword. Because in baseball, a lot of us, myself included, are saying, can we speed these games up a little bit? More offense does not speed things up. More offense makes games longer. Designated hitters makes the game longer. No shift makes the game longer. If it's exciting, then you won't notice the time. So let's hope for the more exciting thing. Jim, good morning again. John, hello again. Baseball's allowed a second steroid era to get fans back in this time. Another thing, designated hitter, no shift, steroids for everybody. Baseball knows what they're doing. I talked to a guy some years ago that was a prospect for the Cleveland Indians. And he went as so far as to say that the team trainer had appointments for players. Like, if you weren't in your appointment at this time, this time of the week, whatever, that was your steroid appointment. That was when you would get your steroid shot. And that's not everybody had it, but he knew of people that had it. And that's what he told me. And he played for that organization, and he played for the Indians in their minor league system. And he's like, that was your appointment. If you didn't have your appointment, then, this guy's not taking it serious enough. He doesn't want to take them steroids. What a time. What a time. Awesome football analogy. What are we looking at here? I think Darian. What's up, Darian? Oh, Darian, I think it was a genuine statement, not a pure pandering statement. No, I think it was pretty legit. You're talking about Nick Castellanos, I assume. Yeah, there's no other way to mean that. Like, if it would be pandering if he's like, oh, then if I don't hit baseballs, then I can't feed my family so many cheesesteaks. Like, that would be pandering. But I just think that's how he operates. Like, some people are pretty simple. Like, I don't want people to complicate things. And Nick Castellanos, it's funny, athletes, but particularly baseball players, because I think baseball players are the weirdest in terms of, like, there's no code to crack. It's just kind of how their mind works. And that's Nick Castellanos' thought process. Why am I going to complicate this? I hit baseballs. Go there and barrel up, my friend. I like guys that keep it simple. Charlie, good morning. What's going on? Real time. What's up, real time? Nice to have you in. Oh, real time. What's up, homie? What's going on, man? Kyle Schwarber, hell of a name. Kyle, Farzy, you're more handsome than Castellanos, right, ladies? Kyle, that's a piping hot take, okay? And as much as I like to say it's not a hot take if you believe it, and I want to believe this, but I'm going to go ahead and say that the younger gent with the Backstreet Boys haircut is slightly more handsome than I am. Good morning, Fuji. Good morning, Benny. What's popping? Oh, Benny says, Swirly, 1,000%. That's very, very kind of you. 10,000%. Very kind of you. Benny, you know who stinks? Sealski. It's been a while. You guys have really been letting Sealski off the hook as of late. Benny, welcome back to the chat. Nice to have you again. John, what's popping? Don't even realize the Bulls had fallen like that. Yeah, John, they suck again. Alyssa, what's up, Alyssa? Good morning. What's going on? Let's see. Oh, one more quote from Nick Castellanos. I meant to play it for you. Nick Castellanos, you talked about it barreling up, and now he likes to keep things simple, stupid. Here's Nick Castellanos again. When the going gets tough, and the tough can't get going, you know what Nick Castellanos also says? It's play on, dude. Thank you. Real time, so happy to be. Oh, real time, nice to have it. I was muted in a chat that should remain nameless. Appreciate the love over here. Oh, real time. Welcome to the party, pal. The hand clap and yelling. He was definitely saying, catch me outside. Oh, yeah, April. Good morning to you. And yes, you're absolutely right. Catch me outside. How about that? God, that was such a great moment in America. Oh, God bless that lady. Well, was she like 14 at the time? That lady, whatever her name was whatever. She sounded like $1 million Instagram deal or something. I don't know. Good for her. All because she wanted to fight people as a 14-year-old girl. God bless her. The hand clap and the yelling with Jimmy Butler. Very intense. I just hope the Miami Heat light themselves on fire and they just continue to fall. Alyssa, don't say. Oh, you don't say real time. I roll. Oh, I see what's going on here. Okay. Betty, if you get muted here, it's because one man named PJ says, no. Don't talk about Miss PJ. Don't talk about that. Falconator, Don't got any problems with Jimmy for his team in Philly, for his time in Philly. Not his fault. Brown sucked. I love Jimmy Butler. Last night was an example of the boiling point. And I just love the fact that Tyrese Maxey and Furkan Korkmaz added to the boiling point for Jimmy Butler. At least Brett Brown, people say that about Brett, but at least Brett had the presence of mind to say Ben shouldn't be handling the ball in the postseason. That's got to be Jimmy Butler. Brett Brown doesn't get enough credit for that. He doesn't get any credit for that. But here I am giving him some credit. The real time, you must be. By the way, I don't follow CT on Instagram, but it came up in my feed, and I think I followed her after. She's jacked, man. She's like ripped. The next time she's given the weather, I'm going to be noticing them pythons she's got. Holy Lord, CT. Mike Sealski, the journalist who tells bad jokes on Twitter. That's what I love about Mike Sealski. I love dad jokes. Dad jokes are hilarious. I saw a dad joke yesterday, and I'm going to tell it to you right now. It's how much I enjoyed it. My wife came downstairs, and she says, hey, where's the iPad? I said, hey, there's no eyewitnesses. Aha! I mentioned this earlier, and I actually talked to Matt Breen about it before I hit record on the interview. You ever get so dad excited about something? And what's dad excited, you ask? It's when you get really excited about something really stupid. And it's something that only you get excited about, and your wife looks at you, rolls her eyes, her eyes. The kids look at you like, what the hell are you talking about? My kid's 2.5, so she just looks at me like that anyway. And Leo just kind of looks at me like, hey, I'm 2 months. You don't expect much. But I've been working on this coffee station, and I had my tools kind of just out about in the kitchen. Probably not the best idea with children. So I thought, I got to order myself a toolbox. And let me tell you, it arrived. And the best part was I got like half price because it was used. And like, look at it, you would never know. And it's this mammoth DeWalt. I only buy DeWalt tools, folks. Made in America. And I bought it. And it's gorgeous. Oh, man. Oh, it's beautiful. Fits my jigsaw, my multi-tool. It fits my power drills, hammer, tape measure, drill bits, just everything. Fits everything. My smaller level fits that. It locks, so the kids can't get into it. Oh, baby. This thing is amazing. And I'm like so unbelievably dad excited about it. You have no idea. So anyway, that's just that little side note. And you ever get dad excited about something? That's dad excited. Carter, what's up, Carter? Good morning. Jim, hello again. Real Time says, I feel dirty not being here with Farzy sooner. I like the vibe over here. Not a bunch of know-it-alls. I know nothing. That's how I approach life. What do you know? Nothing. I got nothing. 5 picks for Hill is massive. Oh yeah, 5 picks for Hill is massive, absolutely. But you mean to tell me you wouldn't go like a first round pick, John, and like a third, maybe even a second? That's what I'm here for. Miami SOS is like 26th. Celtics Nets first round. Let them slug it out. Okay, yeah. Mullet, not bad. Mally, what's up, Mally? Kyle, hello again. Alyssa, hello again. Rick, what's going on? Farzy with the truth. What did I say now? Let's see here. Kevin, regardless of my feelings towards Howie Roseman, damn, that boy can move money around like a mob accountant. I tried nothing but good vibes, man. Nothing but good vibes. Every once in a while, somebody in sports really pisses me off, and it'll get me going. I wouldn't mind giving the Dolphins a 4th rounder with the potential of being a 3rd if Devontae Parker plays 70% of his snaps in the 2023 draft. If Parker, huh? I'm lost now. Oh, Falconator, that's nice. The chat is a fun place. Nobody gives anybody a hard time, even when they disagree. Yeah, we're all friends. Jacob, is this Jacob saying this? The dude is a money laundering machine. That's a great nickname for Howie Roseman. The money launderer. Tynan is here? No. Yes. See, yeah, everyone loves her, but these guys like talking about her thumbs for some weird reason. Oh, John, thank you. Tyreek Hill, no trade clause. So that would explain not wanting to come to Philadelphia. Or anywhere else for that matter. Jalen Reagor's due for a breakout year, 200 yards, 2 touchdowns. Yeah, we should all be so lucky there real time. Rick, great half for Tyreek. Falconator Reagor is a make or break year. Who said, was it John that said Jalen Reagor is like a BLT with no bacon? That's a great way to sum that up. Oh, Jim, I hate that. Jim says Hurts won't be able to throw the ball far enough to hit Hill. Although a lot of people think that's true, Jim, I am here to take down the rag arm idea of Jalen Hurts. I think Jalen Hurts can throw the ball a country mile, okay? It's the accuracy that gets me. I think he can make that throw. He threw a ball 65, 70 yards in the air during the season. I think it was against Washington. He has the arm strength. What bothers me is the accuracy. The accuracy is what needs to improve. The point I always go to is Nick Foles. Nick Foles did not have a special strong arm. He had an accurate arm when he was red hot. He had an accurate arm, which is how he can make those throws. His arm wasn't a detriment, but it wasn't like an elite arm strength type of arm. It was like a top 15, top 20 maybe type of arm. Jalen Hurts has that same type of arm. He needs to be accurate. Strength, you can live with the strength of his arm. It's not a detriment. Accuracy is what kills him. And that's what I want to see take. If you tell me Jalen Hurts stays at this level of arm strength for the rest of his career, I'm fine. If you tell me Jalen Hurts stays at this level of accuracy, backup quarterback, career backup quarterback. Real time, you're too funny. We start. Oh, Cody. Good morning, Cody. Mullet, hello again. Falconator, hello again. Jacob, love Matt Breen, but I feel like he dresses up for Star Wars midnight movie debuts. I'm gonna pass that along to him. Matt's great. I really like Matt a lot. I actually met Matt. I told you guys I was going out last week to speak to the youth of America at a school. I met Matt at that same event 3 years ago. And, just a good dude. Real time. Farzy is a spicy Italian with gravy, but accurate? What? Luigi. What's up, Luigi? It's a freaking monsoon out there. Oh, Luigi, I saw you warning real time about no weather girl. You know what? Maybe the opening day we'll get a nice weather report. Maybe we'll do that. Maybe that's what I'll shoot for. Opening day, we'll get a weather girl on, and she'll give us the forecast for the week. So that way, if you're going down to the ballpark, you know what's what. Sean Gillespie said it. Sean, you said it. Reagor is like a BLT with no bacon. Sean, beautifully put. April and Real Time are going to be saying that their MLB TV packages are finally going to be worth it. I certainly hope so. April, especially after that note that they sent you. Hey, we don't have baseball yet, but we're not going to charge you because we don't have baseball yet. Gee, thanks. Quite a few of you guys aren't in Philly. Yeah, I know. You guys got the TV package and all that stuff. And that's why the internet show. Somebody hit me up from Australia. They were watching the show in Australia. Another person was in Greece. They hit me up while they were in Greece. Steroid mode of baseball. Sean, yeah, we're back, baby. How is a cam girl on here? What? What is happening? I think you get the wrong show. Dean, what's up, Dean? Jalen Ghost Reagor has his own emblem and embroidered car seats and gold chains and Louis Vuitton luggage, man, is legit. Huh? Let's see what else we got going on here. Schwarber Castellanos literally changed the outlook for the season. Jan, you're not off with that, my friend. You were dead on. Falconator, interviews are Mark's favorite part of the show because he gets to take a nap. Literally. Like you guys watch the interview and I'm just kind of here stare. Actually, I just sit. You know what I do? When I go to break, when I go to the interview, I just stare at the camera and I wait the 15, 20 minutes, 30 minutes sometimes. And I don't even blink. I just stare. And then Jim will wave at me. PJ will wave at me. And I'll be like, I think I saw that. And then I just start talking again. Actually, I don't. I go take a nap. Bobby Boucher. Dollar General would not change the price for them. Who would we not change the price for? Probably Howie Roseman. Carter, what's going on? The chat is fire. The chat is fire today, which probably why I only had half of it. Don't take the beard from Farzy. Yeah, I look sickly without a beard. My wife convinced me to grow the beard, and I thought it was ungentlemanly. And then I grew it, and I'm like, yeah, this ain't changing. I had to shave it once for a TV thing. Oh, God, that was terrible. My wife came home, and I called her. I was like, hey, babe, just so you know, when you come home, the beard's gone. I shaved the beard for this TV thing. She was like, okay. And she came home and she goes, you look like a bald 11-year-old. I said, thanks. Jimmy John. I'm not a Jimmy John's guy. I don't buy cold sandwiches. Like even a hoagie, occasional of a hoagie. But a hoagie is like just not something that I seek out. James, I'm pretty sure Farzy is 59 years old. You're about 20 years off. Thank God. Mama said rye bread is the devil. Tecmo Bowl. Oh, mullet. Great reference. Ooh, Ben. I am overdue for Checkers. I kind of gave up fast food for Lent. So I'm going to probably crush some Checkers on Easter Sunday. Big shout out to Jordan Mailata singing like a king. You're damn right he was singing like a king. More of that in the chat check. Shiloh, what's up, Shiloh? What's going on? At some point, Farzi's going to be 85% beard, 15% face. No, I don't think I'm ever going to lose that much weight. Tell you that much. Thanks, everybody in the chat. You guys are fantastic, as per usual. Much appreciated. That was the chat check, ladies and gentlemen. Let's jump into our morning rush brought to you by Sky Motorcars. SkyMotorcars.com. Sean Gillespie, bald 11-year-old. I'm a Scorpio. That's my wife. I'm a Scorpio. I'll pee a circle around you and mark my territory. Anyway, guys, if you haven't seen it, this is Jordan Mailata. Thingamabob Unmasked. He sang last night that it was an Ed Sheeran song that makes me want to cry. Yeah, I'll say it. You know, I found a love. That song, right? He sang it last night. I can't play it for you because we don't have the thing. We don't have the rights to play it. But it was incredible. And YouTube would like cancel my video if I put it out there. But he sang that song last night and absolutely crushed it. The man is the voice of an angel. I know he's Australian, but I want him to sing the national anthem at the next Sixers game. This was Jordan Mailata on a Masked Singer. Now, you might remember from Monday's show, I'm sitting in Center City at my favorite restaurant, and I'm out to an early lunch with some friends and the kids and everything. We're having a nice time. And I see this ginormous human walking across the other side of the street, and it's Jordan Mailata. And he's in a cutoff shirt. He looked like he just got done working out, like he might have taken the subway up from the NovaCare complex to go back home. I don't know. And I see him like, our eyes met. We locked eyes. And he started singing to me. No, he started singing Ed Sheeran to me from across the street. And the acoustics between the skyscrapers in Center City were just beautiful. But no, we saw each other, waved, said, what's up? I told him, nice, welcome to Son Reddick. You're on else, And then last night, the episode of Masked Singer drops with him singing that Ed Sheeran song. And it was beautiful. And I saw somebody hint 2 days ago that it was going to be Jordan Mailata. And there he was, star of the star of the show. Now taking America by storm this morning as he's gone viral tenfold. I saw him walking across the street like he was just minding his own damn business, having himself a good time on a Sunday afternoon. Sunday late morning, I guess. How great is that? And then here he is Wednesday night taking America over. So great to see. So beautiful to see. God bless that man. God bless Jordan Mailata. 76ers, ladies and gentlemen, are back in action. Tomorrow night, I believe they're back in action against the Clippers. They're staying in Los Angeles for that matchup. We'll see if the big four of the Philadelphia 76ers can get it going again with another 20-point performance across the board. Yeah, tomorrow night, 10:30 tip-off. Come on, man. Against the Clippers. That'll be a cigar night probably for me. I'll probably have the cousins over, and we'll be smoking cigars, having ourselves a good old time. But Sixers right now take on the Clippers tomorrow night, 10:30. So we'll see how that goes. Villanova. Oh, my goodness. Villanova, ladies and gentlemen. Now, you know, I'm a Temple guy. When I was at Temple, I hated Villanova. When I became a graduate, started to get to know the guys around the Big Five. Jay Wright, Phil Martelli. Obviously, John Chaney was my coach when I was there. He was our coach when I was there. I got to build a relationship with Fran Dunphy. Well, he was Temple's head coach, and I root for the Big Five. Well, I shouldn't say I root. I pull for the Big Five. And although the Villanova kids were the kids that were always chanting safety school at me and my classmates at Temple University, I think of Jay Wright. I think of obviously Colin Gillespie, a fellow Archbishop Wood graduate. Saw him win a city championship at the Philadelphia Catholic League at the Palestra, which is one of the coolest experiences. My old coaches invited me to sit behind the bench to watch Archbishop Wood win that game, and they beat Newman Goretti, which was incredible. But Villanova takes to the hardwood tonight. And what should be what I imagine to be a pretty good game against Michigan. Michigan was a bubble team. They got a lot of fight left in them, no pun intended. But we'll see how they match up against Villanova tonight. My thoughts are that Villanova takes care of business tonight as they take on Michigan. 7:29. That game will be on CBS, I believe, is carrying the game tonight. Yeah, TBS. TBS is carrying the game tonight. So we'll see how that plays out for Villanova. But it's a 2-seed versus 11-seed matchup. I like Villanova handling their business against Michigan tonight, but I see it being a better game than some people are anticipating. We all know Phil Martelli is on the bench now for Michigan as Juwan Howard has come back from his suspension. Villanova is a 5-point favorite going into tonight's game. Good luck to the Wildcats. I'll be pulling for them. I can't root for them. That's against Temple bylaws, other Big Five bylaws, but I will be pulling for Jay Wright and the Villanova Wildcats tonight against Michigan, and I like them covering the 5-point spread for tonight. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. My thanks to Matt Breen for jumping on the show today. Make sure you guys check out that article on Inquirer.com. Jim Hyden produced the program, did a phenomenal job as per usual. From the Steven Singer studio, I'm Mark Farzetta for the Farzy Show, presented by Destination Retirement, destinationretirement.com. Jim Hyden produced the show, did a great job. It's a Buzz Sports Entertainment production. Have a great day, everybody. Talk to you tomorrow. See ya.